All right, hello. I get the afternoon spot where your tummies are full. Hopefully you had a cup of coffee so you're awake. If not, I've got a few activities to wake us up, so don't despair. First off, we're having a digital conversation, a social media conversation, correct? How many of you are on Facebook? Personally on Facebook? Your organizations are on Facebook? How many of you are on Instagram? How many of you are on Snapchat? I love Snapchat. How many of you have posted a photo today to say where you are and let your community know that you are actually as a digital person, you're actually at a digital conference? A few. Well, lucky thing I'm here. Lucky thing I brought my phone. We're going to kick this off by taking a selfie. So, any of the other speakers that are here? Nails, get up here. Who else is a speaker in the room? Josh, get up here. Oh, I want a selfie with Josh so bad. This is exciting. Anybody else? Who wants their selfie with Josh? Come on, get up here. Come on. Come on. Don't be people. We are social media people. We're digital people. Yeah, come on. Josh, you're famous. All right, here we go. Thank you, Sheridan. Okay. Now we are all going to turn our...
No need for lessons here.
So Nils is going to have to do it because or Sheridan might. Who's taller? Sheridan. We need a long arm. So you guys are going to go behind me. Go behind me. Who are the photo bombers in the group? Who likes to get in a photo? Adam, get up here. Penny, get up here. You guys are along here. You guys have to photo bomb. We're going to make the room look full, you guys. We're at a social media event. We want it to look like we're interested in what we do. Anybody interested? Anyone? Okay, I'm going to give you my phone. We're facing this way.
Give me this phone. That's mine.
Yeah, Josh, get in here. Come on, I get to be close. Oh, there you are. Okay, everybody squeeze in.
I think you should go from that way, Sheridan. Trust me.
We just have to work out the logistics. Yeah, Penny, get up here. You want to be the bomber? Okay, bomber. Okay, you got to go.
Now he's gone over there.
Should we stand on a chair?
Everybody squeeze.
I just can't quite get myself in. There we go.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
No, you got to go up higher. We all look fat.
Angle.
Angle. Come on, last game's a good game.
Okay. And.
Do a Josh face. Everybody do a Josh face. Okay. Well done. You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to post this, and I'm sure the CMAA Instagram people will post that as well. You can all tag yourself. You can all share it. You can let everybody know that you've been at a fun, eventful, social gathering. Yeah? All right. So there's a lot of white noise on the internet. How do you filter through and figure out what you're going to look at and what is going to capture your attention? We all have ways and means that we look at things. We all do our research. We all check out, we read bios, we read film clips, we read everything to determine what's actually going to grab our attention. Because if you're anything like me, are you overwhelmed at times with the amount of stuff that gets thrown at you on a daily basis? We're overwhelmed by it. So I guess Dwayne has introduced who I am a little bit, but we're going to go a little bit personal. Because some of you would have heard me last year. Some of you, I had a comment last year, which was really funny. When I got up, someone said their initial thought was, well, who is she and what could she possibly have to say? I like that comment. It's a negative one, maybe, but you can turn it into something that's really good. And so this year, I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory as to who I am and why I think you should listen to me and why Dwayne did, and it all worked out really well. This is my family. This is an Instagram photo from Mother's Day. We went out and we celebrated. This year, since I saw you last year, has been a big year. We have had our first child graduate from high school, and we have entered the world of university. It's big. My son is soccer crazy. That's Gabriel beside me. He is much like you, Josh. I cannot believe I got a good photo of him. Every photo he's in, he's either pulling a face. And his Mother's Day Snapchat this year of me was from an angle that he took down below where I had about 38 chins. And he sent that out to everybody who follows him. Needless to say, his allowance is cut this week. There's my daughter, Sophia. She's 18, university, and Ella, who is 12 and loves to dance. So I'm a mother. I'm a working mom. I've had one of those weeks, actually today, I've had one of those weeks. Those of you who are away from family, you know what it's like. The call I got today was, Mom, it's winter uniform time. We've got to put our winter uniform on today. And I went, oh, that's okay. Yours is in the cupboard. Go put it on. She said, yeah, I did. I'm stuck. It's too small, Mom. My winter uniform doesn't fit. So here I am sitting in the hotel going, so my child's stuck in her uniform. I have no idea what to do. My instant thought was, take a photo. Let me post it. That's really funny. Not a great parenting moment, maybe. Anyway, she's sorted. She's fine. I want to talk to you today about the whole social space, and we've heard a lot of stuff, about content. And last year, if you were here, you will remember I talked about content being king and engagement being queen. And I talked about having compelling content and what that looks like and how to create content. And Josh is brilliant at that, and we created a piece of content that can be used for here. We took a photo of people, and we created something where other people are going to want to engage. We're going to put something out there where people are actually going to look and go, oh my gosh, I had no idea that's what CMAA was. Oh, I might be interested in going to that. It's not creating content that takes weeks in development. We, as Josh said, we have it all. We've got a producer right in our pocket. We have the ability to create content on the go. I still believe that content is king, but I'm more interested in content that matters. And I think as I think about social and digital media and the whole space, I'm always brought back to Jesus at the well. Jesus sat at the well and he listened to the woman. And he knew what was going on in her life. He knew exactly what was happening. But he let her speak and he listened. And from that point of listening, he then acted and he spoke. I think oftentimes in our excitement, and I say within the Christian space as well, many of you are sitting in this place and budgets are tight, correct? Budgets are really tight. And so when digital media came along, we kind of looked at it and went, this is fantastic. We can get things out really fast. It's inexpensive. But I think we're in a space right now where we need to listen. About 2 years ago, 2015, I'm not big at making New Year's resolutions, but I decided to. I thought, I'm going to do it this year. Anyway, turned out that God spoke to me and said, be quiet. Just be quiet and listen. It was one of the loudest years of my life. I heard and I listened and I did, and I just simply sat in that space of listening to my family, to the audience that I have the opportunity to engage with, and I listened to what they were talking about. And I started to create content based on that. And all of a sudden, you never know what's going to fly. You never know what's going to travel far. You never know if it's going to be, who knew cat videos would go? Who knew? I hate cat videos, but they're everywhere. Sorry, all you cat lovers. They're everywhere. Who knew? Who knew what was going to fly? And I recall, I've always been an early adopter of social platforms. And I like what, I think it was Tracy said earlier. One of the things I want to remind you, there's a few things I'm going to drop in every once in a while. Emails. We tend to look at emails as just emails. They are social media. Everything we do, everything has a social component to it. I remember when I started blogging, and it was back in the Blogspot days, and I had developed this Blogspot, and I was so excited about what I was going to write about because I thought it was brilliant. And I remember posting my first blog and thinking, I cannot wait to wake up tomorrow because there'll be millions of people that have read what I posted. Went to bed very excited because, gosh, it was a good article, in my opinion. Woke up the next morning, clicked on the back end to see that little globe that would spin around, waiting for the numbers to tick and show me how many people. There were 4. My mom in Canada, my sister, who was in another country, my girlfriend in Melbourne, and my girlfriend in LA. That was it. My brilliance was out the window. But one of the things that I have come to understand is that there are things that do go viral. There are videos that will go, and overnight you will wake up and you will think, what happened? How did this cat video get 15 million views? But oftentimes within the social space, it is the slow burn. It's the slow and steady, consistent conversation that you're having with an audience. What I'm going to talk about today is knowing your numbers. And I've heard it said that with our health, we need to know our numbers. I dip from the really shallow end of the gene pool when it comes to heart health. My family is riddled with heart issues. I have to know my numbers. Went to the doctor recently and stepped on the scale, and the number isn't what it's supposed to be. So I am currently literally working my backside off. Literally working it off every day at 5:15 at a gym. We have to know our numbers. For health, we have to know our numbers. It's the same thing within the digital space. Knowing your numbers helps you engage with your audience in a meaningful way. I have the opportunity to work with some incredible clients, one of which is the Australian Christian Channel. And it has been a fantastic year where I've been working with them. A great team headed by Mike Jeffs, as you all know, one of the, I would say, spiritual fathers and incredible influences on the Australian Christian media field and media across the board. Additionally, I get the opportunity to work with Stu Harris. And I've said this to Stu before, I think he's a gifted CEO and GM. And over the course of the last year, we have taken the Australian Christian Channel into a space where we have more viewers than ever. We have more viewing minutes. We have more people looking at our content. But it's happening because we are intentionally listening to our audience. We're watching the numbers move. There's not one new view that goes unnoticed in our meetings. And one of the things that I want to really share with you, and I've got my phone on. People are messaging me. One of the things that I want to say is, gone are the days of individual departments. Individual departments where you've got the marketing team over here, you've got the production team over here, and you've got the whatever team over here, and the coffee and gossip team over here. Gone are those days. We need to be in this together. We need to be, in your stations, in your television, your writing, whatever you're doing. We need to be coming together as teams, and we need to look at what is happening. We need to look at the numbers, and we need to understand, where is traffic moving? What is happening? I get to work with Adam Nevin, who's in our production department, and it's him and I. He's in production, and it's us going, well, what is going to travel? What are people going to hold on to? It's not just us as a marketing team sitting and going, well, this sounds like a good idea. Does that make sense to you guys? Are you tired? Are you having your after lunch lull? Digital media is about being tactical, strategic, and measuring. There is, I would suggest, and sorry, Josh, I keep using you as an example, but there is some strategy that goes along with the videos and the stuff that he's creating. There is a listening and knowing that this traveled last time. I actually think, if Josh started doing, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something really random and that wouldn't work, but I can't. I'm having a mind block. But there's strategy that goes along with everything. We have to look at who we want to reach, who we want to talk to. We have to look at what is out there right now. Again, go back to Jesus at the well. What is out there? What are they talking about? What are people engaging with? What is moving? And how do we engage with that? How do we take our audiences on that journey? It's being tactical. Every army has tactics involved. We have the greatest message. We have the greatest message, and I think one of the mistakes we often make is we get so excited about that and we want to get it out there as fast as we can. Sometimes it's slow and steady wins the race. Sometimes we need to pull back and look at the campaigns or the conversations that we're having. And we actually need to look at them critically and go, hang on a second. This is where we want to be. This is our goal. This is where we want to be. Look critically and understand whether the things that we're putting in place are actually going to take us on that journey. You can't grow what you don't measure. We're big on that at the channel. We've been coming together and sitting down and looking at numbers and looking at, well, how many hours are people spending watching movies? How many hours or minutes are people spending watching teaching? We're measuring everything to see how we move forward. Where do we need to put an emphasis right now? So it's measuring everything that we're doing. I get the opportunity to work with a lot of authors and writers. And so we're big into the whole Amazon world and finding out how to push writers through the roof and break ceilings and get them to their number one spots and do all the things that need to happen for that. And a lot of that comes, embedding ourselves into the author's world and finding out who are they, who is their audience? Who resonates with them? It's doing testing on throwing some of their articles out and doing some really targeted testing and looking at, we sit with authors and we say, who do you think you write like? Or who is someone what genre do you, not genre, what person would you most align with? And it's interesting, 9 times out of 10, we'll get this list of, well, this is who I am, and this is who I am like. And so we'll do a little bit of a test, and we'll say, okay, well, what's come back is you're actually more like this. And so that's where we unleash a whole targeted campaign. And it's interesting to watch as we find out who their audience is, as we find out who they are resonating with, as we listen, we're able then to go in with precision, with tactics, with language that resonates with that particular audience. And that's how numbers are grown. That's how the dial is moved. So it's not just throwing constant content out there. Know your numbers. I go on a lot about knowing your audience. We have to understand what it, and again, oftentimes when I'm talking about the digital space, think of your own habits. The best test to find out if something is going to work is think of your own habits. How do you engage with content? What moves the dial for you? Keep a journal. I do it. I've got notes on my phone, and I keep a little tag of things that actually capture my attention. And then I follow that trail, and I figure out, why did they capture my attention? Why do I have a shoe sitting on the platform today? I have a shoe because I'm going to get to this shoe and how this shoe captured my attention. Find out what your own habits are and pay really close attention, because the online world is very fickle. We are very, very fickle. We know that within 3 seconds on a video, if we haven't captured the attention of a viewer, they're gone. I've heard it said that the first dollar you get somebody to spend is the hardest. The first time somebody turns their attention towards you and actually shows you, hang on a second, amidst all of this white noise, amidst everything out there, you've captured me. 3 seconds, you've captured my attention for 3 seconds. We need to look at that, and we need to understand that that is the beginning of a relationship. It's the beginning of a story. It's the beginning of a journey. If you think of a funnel, that's the top. We now want to take them through this funnel where they come out the end, and whatever our call to action is, wherever we want their attention to be drawn to, whether it be a radio show, a TV show, a book buying, a blog article, an email sign up, whatever that is. The first time we capture their attention is when we've got them. The mistake we make is we get all excited about that and we think, oh, we've got them. We've built our audience, and then we drop it. And we don't keep that journey going. I'll tell you about the shoe. This shoe is called a Mohabis. if I could meet anybody in the marketing world right now, it would be the marketing team that that market this shoe. This shoe is really interesting. It has a little snap at the back. You're going to want these shoes now. It has a little snap at the back. So it's a slipper for the indoor. And then when you want to take your rubbish out, or you want to go to soccer, or you want to go to the shops and kind of look a little okay, you just snap your sole on. Oh, that sounds cool. Snap your sole on. Anyway, this shoe, I've never worn this shoe. Someone has in my house, but it's not me. And I sit in awe and I look at this shoe all the time. The reason I like this shoe is because the people who were responsible for their digital marketing were brilliant. They connected with me, they took me on a journey, and they haven't left me. I still dream of the life that this shoe shows me online. I dream of the day when that lady, she sits on her lounge and her coffee's there and it's hot and steamy. It's not cold because you've had to do 5 other things and forgot you'd made it. I dream of the life that she has, and I always watch when they slip it on to go to the soccer game, and it looks so seamless. These shoes have me. But they haven't left me because every time I go onto the computer, not every time, they seem to have watched the rhythm of my life. And every once in a while, the ad pops up again. And I honestly think, on occasion, although I haven't worn the shoe, I think, I wonder if I should buy those shoes for so-and-so. Now, the interesting thing with the shoe is that, no, I haven't worn them, but here I am talking about them in a room full of media people. I'm talking about a shoe because they took me on a journey that made me think that if I had this shoe, I'm going to have better coffee and a better life. Equally, I've got a picture that will come up later. There's a chair that took me on a journey. It's a chair. Let me flick forward my slides a little bit and find this blasted chair so I can show you. Do you mind me doing this? Here you go. See that chair? That chair is sitting on my front deck right now, waiting for council cleanup. I can't wait for council cleanup. And I had said to my husband, I wish I had taken a photo of me in that chair sitting in this awkward position because it's a terrible chair. It's a gaming chair, and I, of course, like many of you, were sitting looking through digital media, and all of a sudden this ad came up for this chair, and I thought, that looks fantastic. I bet my son would love that because he likes to play games. I bought the chair. I was so excited for it to come. It came, we set it up. We can't get it out of that position now. Everybody's tried to sit on it, and you're gaming like this, and my son's getting a sore back, and I'm saying, use the chair. I bought the chair. You got to use the chair. Mom, it's hurting my back. I can't use this stupid chair. Someone use the chair. So then you got to fold it up into a V, and anyway, what have they done? What has the 2 organizations I'm talking about? The shoe has taken me on this beautiful journey. They've taken me to a place where I'm actually considering buying the shoe, although I've never even worn it, as a gift for somebody else, because they have engaged with me in a meaningful way. And I'm talking about it to a whole company of people. On the flip side, you're now seeing that chair. And every one of you, if you see that chair coming through your social feed, no one's going to buy it. Because they've taken me on this journey. Yes, they connected with me. They told me that it was a gaming chair. They told me that it was a great price. They told me all these things about this chair. But when I got it, it didn't line up with what they told me. And they dropped me. And the interesting thing is they dropped me like a hotcake. All they wanted was my dollar. They wanted my dollar and they got it and they left me. I have a shoe I've never worn who still has me. Do you see what I'm saying? We have got to take people on a journey. It's a journey of what things can look like. How do we rise above the white noise? There is so much noise. How do we know what content will travel? Again, I go back to watch your own habits. What rises above the noise to you guys? What are the things, what are the blogs that you read? What are the other stations that you go and check out? What are the other channels that you check out? What are the places that you're going, that you're visiting, that you're interested in? Look at that. Understand your own habits, and soon enough you will understand. You'll start implementing those things into your own space. Engage with your audience by asking questions. You know, I had an online radio show, and for years, it just grew. It just had this life, and it grew. And people would say to me, "How have you grown an online radio show to over 200,000 listeners?" And my answer was, "Well, I'm not really sure. I just asked people what they wanted to talk about. I asked questions. I went out and I said, hang on a second, I want to do this. I'm interested in this. What do you guys want to talk about?" I asked them. You have to remember, although I'm talking about numbers, numbers represent people. And one of the things that I shared with you last year was about a woman called Kimberly. And I said to you, Kimberly travels with me everywhere. Through every campaign I do, through every conversation online I have, I think about Kimberly, and I encourage you within your organizations, create an audience persona. Have a picture up of Jeanette, who's 42 years old, who has 3 kids, who travels to work to Sydney every day. Have her picture up. Explain what her life is like. Have a picture of Steve up. Steve is a father of 2. He goes to soccer on Saturdays with his kids unwillingly. He likes to go to the footy. He drives a Commodore. Know who you're speaking to. Create that understanding of who your audience is, because everything you do, every conversation you have, every piece of material you create, when you know who you're speaking to, it's no longer sticking your finger in the wind and going, I hope this lands somewhere. We actually have the opportunity to watch things travel. Krista, who works with me through Somo Society, Krista and I were working on a couple of campaigns a couple of years ago, and we had 2 clients that we were targeting a specific conference, attendees of a conference. And we had created these campaigns. One client was traveling really well, and we get really excited when we see numbers. We phone each other and text and go, "Did you see how many books have been sold? Did you see how this has happened?" We get a little bit nerdy that way. But anyway, these 2 campaigns, one was traveling, the other one wasn't. We had done everything we knew to do. Now, interestingly enough, the conference was a Christian conference. So people are there, they're raising their hands, singing hallelujah, writing in their journals about their hopes and the dreams and the lives that they're going to have and the visions that they're having. They're in a happy place, right? Yes, thank you. Most. Interestingly, the ad that we were doing for this one client wasn't traveling anywhere. It was an insurance company. And so we looked at it and we kept saying, what's wrong? Everything's right. We've done everything we know to do, everything by the book. It should be working. Here we realized, we kept looking, we realized it's in the language. Let's play with the words. So the moment we put death and dying into this campaign, all of a sudden, we saw these clicks. We saw this thing happening. Here we thought all these people are at this beautiful place. They're feeling great. Their lives are being enriched, enlarged. They've got dreams and all this stuff. And so we made this flowery campaign to go with it. But in actual fact, we needed to put 2 different words, death and dying. So it's understanding and watching your audience, understanding what is it that, where are they at right now? What are they actually, knowing where they're traveling, knowing what they're reading, knowing what they're looking at, knowing the sites that they're going to. Basing your information off of that. Again, I've said, what are your social media habits? Follow your social media habits. Listen to your own social media habits. How quickly do you engage in content? What content do you engage with? Generally, we connect with those who connect with us. I've got a really good example of that coming up. But we connect with, think about yourself. I love certain airlines because of the way they connect with me socially. I stay with certain service providers because of the way they connect with me socially. I may be totally ticked off at what they're providing me, and I may be really upset. But if they connect with me on a personal level, I stay. Think about are any of you guys like that? Do you use social media in that way? We are person to person. And I think we've moved away from that moment of we just put everything out there and it's this big sea and we just, as I said, put your finger in the wind, hope something lands somewhere, hope it travels. It's no longer like that. We have to remember. There was a book written years ago, and I unfortunately I can't remember the author right now, but it was called Walk Across the Room. Who was it? Bill Hybels, yeah. Walk Across the Room. And I think about that often with social and digital media. How many times do you actually walk across the room? How many times do you look at, from your organizational platform, how many times do you look and go, I'm actually going to go into this space and reach in? One of the things I said a few years ago when I first kind of started coming to the CMAA, into the CMAA space, was, it was a little bit controversial, I guess. I suggested that people reply to comments. And someone said to me, oh, reply to comments, why would you do that? I'd spend half my time doing that. And we're asking people to engage with us. We're all asking people to do something, whether it's to buy a shoe or a terrible chair, or listen to a radio station, or watch a movie, or buy a book. We're all asking people to do something. And so we ask them, and the moment they step into it, we then back away. The moment digital media has put the customer, has put the viewer, has put the listener in the middle of the conversation. We are now in the middle of the conversation. And to not listen to what they are saying, to not listen to the fact that, hey, your radio host or that movie sucked or whatever, to not listen to that is a disservice to our brands and to the organization. We recently had a comment on the Australian Christian Channel Facebook page. And a lady wasn't happy. And there was a conversation. Do you delete that? Do you delete the comment? And I talked to Stu Harris about it, and we went, no, let's go back and let's publicly just say to her, we're so sorry. We're so sorry you didn't like that, but here are some other things that we actually think you will. She then replied, and I should have had it. She then replied saying, thank you so much. I will check that out. I've missed this. We engaged with her in a meaningful way that has kept her part of our conversation, and we placed value on the fact that thank you for watching. Thank you for watching what we're putting out there. And we respect the fact that maybe you're not happy with this, and we'll do better. And here are some other options for you. So we often, I do recall when I was told, oh no, why would we respond to comments? Why would we engage with people? That's the nature of what it is, people. We have the greatest story to tell. We hold the story of eternity in our hands. We hold the story of eternity in our hands. And we desperately want engagement, but we fear the conversation. How do we get there? We create engagement that generates numbers that are meaningful. How do we do it? Customer experience. Whenever I take on a new client, I do, and it's interesting, I do a bit of a shopping expedition, blind shopping, where I will gather a group of anywhere from 20 to 50 people who don't necessarily know the client, and I get them to jump on their website and do some blind shopping, and I take that information back to the client. We need to be willing to look at things and create customer experiences much like the shoe experience. We need to create an experience where people are wanting to come back, where people are wanting to engage with us because they feel so valued, because they feel like they matter. You know how we see that People Matter shirt everywhere? We need to remember that in our social spaces. People matter. They are the ones that make the difference. They're the ones that are buying the books. They're the ones that are watching the movies. They're the ones that are listening to our shows. They're the ones that are calling in and donating. They are the ones. So we need to look at this customer experience. How do we do that and nurture that customer experience? It goes back to marketing, social media managers, content producers, web analyzers. We work together as a team. If you are in an organization where it is clearly defined as this is the marketing department, this is one of the greatest things in my opinion, and I'm using the Christian Channel as an example because it's been a phenomenal year of working with a great team. I've loved every minute of it. And one of the it's a fun meeting that we have, and it's with Craig Jeffs, who's our content what's your title? Content producer, I'm going to say. With Adam Nevin, who is our head of production. And we get together and we literally look at content. We look at what's coming in. We look at how we can market that. We look at how Adam can create content to wrap around it. We look at the conversation holistically. And then we make decisions going, hang on a second, this is what's happened. This is what's been happening last month. This is what happened last week. This is what happened yesterday. Is this actually, the conversation we're having right now, is this actually meaningful for the way our audience is engaging with us? And is that what we should be doing? So I would suggest in your organizations, work together with every part. I had a conversation the other day about satellites. And I literally sat in the conversation going, who still uses a satellite? I remember when in the 80s, everybody had a satellite dish in their backyard. And I said, is it like people with tinfoil hats and stuff now that use satellite dishes? Where are they? And I didn't understand as a marketing person, I didn't understand the why behind the what. And so I asked and said, explain it to me. Explain to me why this means something and why we need to do something in this area. And as a marketing person, I needed to know, I needed to have that information because it helped me in the language that I need to create content that's going to speak to those people, to bring them on a journey that is going to be a transitioning journey for them. But I needed to understand intricately what they were talking about. So in your organizations, pull together. Don't leave it as, oh, these are the jockeys. These are the guys on the show. These are the actors. This is my book. This is the publisher. This is the social team. And I often laugh when I hear, oh, we've got a marketing plan. Oh, and then we've got a digital plan. Isn't it all one? Isn't it all one? Here's the this is engagement. I love this. I absolutely love this. We did a campaign for our new app. We've got a fantastic app. If you haven't downloaded the ACC TV app, I'm going to give you a freebie today. You can download it for free today. All of you, jump online, ACC TV app for free. It's always free, but I'm giving it to you for free today. But this Bruce Anna, this is a person who engages with us a lot on social media. And he just simply commented and said, really like the app. This is what I would suggest is really good engagement. Bruce Anna, we're so glad. I'm sure you'll find something good to watch. We can tell you like the surf. Have you seen Beyond Sight? It's on catch up. And it's about a father who dreamed his son would be a pro surfer, but his son was born blind. Amazing father-son journey on walking by faith and not by sight. We think you'll like it. We did that by looking at Bruce Anna, simply looking at his Instagram feed and seeing him in the surf, seeing his comments with his son, seeing what he likes to do. We dipped back into that and we became personal. We actually looked at him and went, hang on a second, we recognize you. We're so grateful that you like our stuff, that you're engaging with us, all he said was really like the app. But that, going back to him, that's what would you do in real life? If you came up to me and said, hey, Susan, I like your top. I wouldn't stand here and just go, I would look back at you and say, thank you. I got it at Witchery. I'm really happy with it too. I like the way it blah, 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 blah. If you were a girl, I would do that. It's detail. It's in the detail. It's valuing people. Here's another one. We did I've got a couple case studies for you. We did a album launch. We worked with Integrity Music, and we worked on Darlene Check's album launch. 1.5 million people reached. This was a FaceTime video that we did with her, and it was an hour. We had, and this is a small one. We had 7,500 shares, but we reached people by going out and saying, hey, we want to hear from you. What questions would you like to ask? We understand who she is in the media space, or in the Christian world. We understand, and it's through watching what happens on her digital spaces. It's interesting when we watch what happens in her space. If we post things about family and stuff like that on Instagram, people love it. On Facebook, they're not interested. If we post stuff about the church on Facebook, they're not interested. The moment she starts to teach on Facebook, people jump into it and they want to hear more from her. So we went and we said, we're doing a Facebook Live. Let's use the platform for what it's good at. Let's let them ask questions. Let's let them interact with you. We've seen incredible results with that. Alicia Britt-Jolie is an author that we worked on, and Krista and I worked on this together, and we outraced Amazon. We emailed the publisher and said, we need to let you know that you need to have enough books in stock because we're doing something a little bit different than the traditional book promo. We're going deep. We found her audience. We found her people. We're going to go hard, and we're going to push this book. We're going to break ceilings with this book. The publisher, I think, thought, yeah, okay, who are you guys? What are you guys doing? I think it was within 48 hours, they were out of stock. It was finding the audience, it was engaging with them, and it was speaking to them in a way that resonated with them. And it was not only finding the audience that already existed, but it was going out further and finding people who resonated with her writing, with her language, with the stuff she writes. It was finding those people and saying, hey, we want to meet you where you are, and we're going to take you on this journey, and we're going to speak to you, and we're going to put content that's relevant. We already know what you're looking at. We already know we've done our research. We already know what it is you're looking at, and here's something additional that we're going to add to the equation for you. It was fantastic. So I guess, as you can tell, I'm interested in audiences. Know your target audience. Value them. Respect them. Treat them with the highest respect. I think about, as I think about communication, the art of communication, and we look at Jesus, I think about when he was walking through the crowds and someone touched his garment and he said, hang on a second, who touched me? Who touched me? He knew. He knew someone had engaged with him. He knew someone had touched and reached out to him. And what did he do? He came back and he reached into that space. I think we have this incredible opportunity to take our shows, our writing, our whatever your content is. We have this incredible opportunity that is eternal life, that is a message that is great, but I don't think we necessarily need to throw it out in one big foul swoop. I think we need to people want to be taken on a journey. We want to be, an engagement. When I got engaged to my husband, he got down on one knee. We dated for a long time. We really, went through the weeds to find each other. We dated. We were in this engagement period where before we got engaged, we went out for dinners, we dated. Think of how you were engaged to your partner if you have a partner. Engagement is a toing and froing. And we learn about each other. And that, in the digital space, treat it like it is person to person. Treat it like it is face to face. Because when you do that, we feel it. We feel it through every post. You can feel it when someone's screaming at you through a post. You can feel it when someone's just like that chair that I showed you, want the dollar and then they're gone. So I want to encourage you, just be who you would be in person. Be that online and engage in meaningful ways, because through meaningful engagement, you will develop relationships that are transactional. That's it, folks.